This incredible kick is called the Blackmass, and it is one of the most breathtaking things that Aleister Black can do in the ring. He is the first Dutchman in WWE history, and there he had some amazing moments. In this video, we will watch them all together to appreciate his tremendous talent. In the fall of 2017, Aleister Black will have what is perhaps the best rivalry of his career, the one against Velveteen Dream. Without a doubt, it made him one of the best in NXT. The story was based on something very interesting: the huge contrast between Aleister Black, this very dark and silent wrestler, while Velveteen Dream, on the contrary, is very colorful and expressive. Dream wanted Black to give him his attention, to say his name. The phrase, "say my name," came up several times in their program, and it was crazy how much this phrase was used. In his obsession to get the Dutchman's recognition, Velveteen will interrupt his segment, attack him during his entrance, arrive near the ring at the end of a match with his jacket on and yelling at him to say his name. He will even tell him. That immediately reminds us of what Roman Reigns will say a few years later. "Acknowledge me!" They will have a match at NXT TakeOver War Games on November 18th, which will be memorable. On that day, Dream was wearing pants with their heads drawn on them. It's a detail that I thought was amazing. The match was very progressive, with mind games between the two men. In the end, Velveteen will be stuck in the ropes and then receive a Blackmass in the head. After the match, Aleister took the microphone and said his enemy's name for the first time.
"Enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream."
Many wrestling media will love this match, and the program between the two men will even be voted Rivalry of the Year at the NXT Year-End Awards of 2017. The Dutchman will also win the Breakout Star and Male Competitor of the Year awards. An incredible success for his first year in the company. One of the other main opponents of the Dutchman was Andrade. In April 2017, he will make his official debut at the NXT TakeOver Orlando show against the Mexican. What was particularly memorable on that day was his entrance, of course. We see him get up as if a force was animating him. To accompany him, he has his music, The Root of All Evil, in which the hardcore punk band Incendiary participated. He ended his entrance with what will become a habit, jumping over the rope and then sitting in the ring. On this day, he will win his first match with a move that I personally like: the Blackmass, an inverted kick that knocks out his opponents. The Dutchman is also a kickboxing specialist. A year later, in February 2018, Black will face Andrade again, who was the champion this time. It's funny to note that the Mexican's manager, Zelina Vega, was the Dutchman's wife in real life. The two wrestlers will have a fantastic match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans that will become a classic. It will end with Aleister's victory, and he finally succeeded. He is now the NXT champion, where all the promising WWE wrestlers are. So he seems to have a bright future in the Federation, like Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins, wrestlers who have also already been at NXT. When Aleister Black wrestled against the Japanese Hideo Itami on the show NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, he had one of the best entrances of his career. This is one of his biggest qualities since the beginning of his journey in the Federation. It's a scene where we see him get up as if he came back from the dead. Since the beginning of his adventure in the American organization, his entrance has been studied and improved, and it was visible. Aleister came out of the smoke while the arena was plunged into darkness. We also saw candles there, and the metal bands Code Orange and Incendiary were even there to play his music live. We can of course see the faith that Triple H and the other NXT officials place in him. This gave him everything to shine. So on that day, he had a match against Itami. In this program, we see the two men attacking each other outside the ring, which added hatred and intensity to their feud. They both had in common that they knew kickboxing well. This will enable them to have a very tough match in Brooklyn, which seems very realistic. We can imagine that it was fun for the Dutchman to face the Japanese because he watched Japanese wrestling when he was younger and was a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. In 2018, Aleister Black was attacked by one of his colleagues and had to stay at home for a few months. When he returns, he will go in search of the aggressor, and he will find out in a crazy scene with Nikki Cross. It is October 17th, 2018, and she is in the middle of a match against Bianca Belair. At the moment they were both on the mat, all the lights go out in the arena for a few seconds. Then we suddenly see Aleister Black sitting in the ring. For those who have already watched WWE, you may know that such a scene is typically the style of The Undertaker. Personally, I think it's great because I love the dead man, who was clearly an inspiration for Aleister Black's world. While the spectators are silent so that they can hear everything, Aleister will order Nikki to reveal her secret to him, the identity of the man who attacked him. Cross slowly crawls up to Black and whispers in his ear. His acting will be crazy, because the Dutchman will start to boil with anger. When Aleister Black arrived at the highest level of the WWE, the main roster, it took a while for those in charge to believe in him. But that changed when Paul Heyman became the director of Monday Night Raw. At that moment, Aleister Black started a winning streak, and his best matches were those against the man who would become his friend in the coming years, Buddy Murphy. Between December 2019 and January 2020, the two men will face each other 3 times, and the Dutchman will win each time in incredible matches. Together, they will develop a chemistry that will feel on the screen, and at TLC, for example, they will have the best match of the evening. Aleister didn't need much to shine, and some of the fans who watch their matches carefully still consider it as one of the best of 2019. In any case, it was a great advertisement for Aleister Black, and it will give him the opportunity to participate in the 2020 Royal Rumble, the most exciting match of the year. At the beginning of the year 2019, after Aleister Black failed to win the NXT title again against Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, and after participating in the Royal Rumble, where he will be eliminated by Baron Corbin, something memorable will happen in his career. His team with Ricochet. The little acrobatic wrestler becomes his partner for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, a tournament that gives a tag team title opportunity to the winners. It's interesting to note that their collaboration really started during the Halftime Heat show, which aired during the Super Bowl halftime. Their team was surprising but also winning. They pass all the rounds and win in the final against the Forgotten Sons on the March 27, 2019 episode of NXT. This will give them the opportunity to fight against the Viking Raiders team, the champions, at NXT TakeOver New York, where they will lose. It will also give Aleister Black and Ricochet the chance to have a match at WrestleMania 35 against the Usos, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Rusev and Nakamura for the SmackDown Tag Team title. Although they also lost there, this period was mainly the end of the Dutchman's adventure at NXT, and it was time to finally switch to the main roster. When Aleister Black was finally able to compete against the biggest superstars in the wrestling world, he will start with a rather strange period. After WrestleMania 35, he will only have a few tag team matches on Raw and SmackDown, the 2 WWE television programs. Within a few days, he was transferred to the red brand, then to the blue brand, which clearly shows there was no real project for him at that time backstage. In the end, he will not have matches on television for 3 months, and in short videos he says that someone had to be brave enough to come and challenge him. A man is going to knock on his door, the Swiss Cesaro. So this will be his first real opponent in the main roster. This match will take place at Extreme Rules on July 14, 2019. Against a technically good and hard-working wrestler who was respected in the profession, Aleister Black had the opportunity to show all his talent in the ring. On that day, he will have his entrance, which is really unique, and with his fellow European, they will have a brutal fight. He was able to show the quality of his shots, and his final Blackmass was great as always. This will ultimately be one of the main highlights of his WWE career, which will end in June 2021. This was apparently due to budget cuts in the company, but it seemed that the officials simply didn't know how to use Aleister Black, and that is very unfortunate. We can say that Aleister Black had some amazing moments, that's for sure. I hope you had a good time watching this video, and I invite you to stay on the Paradise of Wrestling to look at some other ones. See you right away.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. What?